right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Psychopaths.
Episode 21. Which is shaping up to be a doozy, I think.
Yeah, I think that this could be like the second or third to the last episode in the show.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah, at least for this season. The showdown that's about to go at this farm thing, granary, whatever.
To take down Shogo Makishima.
Yes, I am very worried about how many people are making out of this alive.
Right, because it
has one of those feelings of just like, oh, this is an old place where a whole lot of people could get lost, you know?
Right.
But, yeah, heroes go to die, villains go down, get chucked into the granary's food supply thing as a disposing of the body. It's, you know,
that'd be a way to double tap for sure. And then maybe we could get a drone invasion if Sybil decides to step in.
Step in at the farm. You're talking about that. Yeah, that's not an invasion. That's just an attack.
Right.
Invasion. Oh,
invasion
massive army.
Better. Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Well, in my head.
Okay. The question is, will there be a recap? Basically, my thing is, if this story ends at the granary, not really the story ends, but if Makishima dies at the granary, or if his story ends at the granary, will they have an additional episode after that to kind of show...
Resolve everything?
Well, no, just to kind of recap and put a nice little bow on it. Like, they resolve most things by just ending the story.
Yeah. Okay.
But having actually a moment of kind of, hey, here's where they all are at now, like kind of an epilogue episode.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know if this is that type of show.
I don't think they need that. I think they could, if they wanted to. They don't have to, but if they wanted to, they could resolve it in just these 2 episodes, like to make it a 22 episode show.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know how long the show is, so I guess we'll just have to find out. So let's get into this episode and see what happens.
Yes, the process itself should be automated or close to it, as long as the equipment still works. I would guess that's why they chose Ukonomitama, because it is so easy to update.
A good virus transformed into a destructive disease.
I feel like them bringing that up again this early on in the episode is just reinforcing the idea that they didn't really think about this originally in the story. Like,
sure. Yeah, I can see that. Because there's at least no mention of it or anything earlier on. I love that they're using one of these things.
Yeah, it's a cool design, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And now we come to one of my favorite stories from the book of Matthew. Jesus told them another parable.
Oh, the Bible.
The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away.
The sky is green. It gives it this foreboding sense of just something not good coming.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Surest way to buy some time.
That's another way in.
They're already here.
Well, motorcycles may be cool. Might not be the fastest way to get around.
Right.
Well.
Oh, that's a cool shot.
Yeah.
Hard to believe a facility this big can be fully automated with no humans on site.
The bigger the prey, the easier it is to hit the target on their back, especially when you're working with a poison needle powerful enough to kill a whale. These tactics are just like Makishima.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
It's probably from Kogami. I'm guessing he saw us land. He has to be somewhere nearby.
Yep.
Tsunemori here.
Didn't think you'd get here this fast.
Then you shouldn't be underestimating the Bureau. You're not the only person who can chase Makishima into a corner.
Oh.
He's already in the facility.
He must be using the equipment Professor Kodama left in the university's lab to alter the Ukonomitama virus as we speak.
You're trying to use us to lower the defenses so you can get to Makishima before we can and take him out. Isn't that right, Kogami?
Whoa.
We'll never let you do that.
Yeah. Here we go.
All right.
Security here. Can't we have it transferred to our control so that we can shut down the plant without leaving it undefended?
That process would take some time. Makishima could put us into checkmate while we sit. I'm afraid we have no other option here.
There's something I'd like to ask the both of you. If you do encounter Mr. Kogami somewhere in there, and if his crime coefficient is over 300 so it activates the Eliminator, will you promise to call me in before you shoot him?
And what's the point of you being there?
I've got a trump card I can use against him.
Oh.
Just trust me. Let me handle this.
Oh.
Nice, because she can manipulate the Dominator.
Yeah.
Our chances of capturing Makishima alive without someone getting hurt aren't likely at all. If you grant me an exception, those chances get a whole lot.
Yeah.
Think of the end results and the justice you're trying to enforce. You're good at calculating risk and reward, aren't you?
Beginning now and ending when Shogo Makishima is captured, we will grant an exception on the applicable terminal device.
They're already on top of the facility.
Yeah.
So, you'd think they'd have an easier time getting to Makishima than Kogami.
Yes. Most likely.
Love this music.
Bomb? Or is that his
dose of the virus or something?
Yeah. Leaving the blade open.
Well, we know one thing at least. Makishima's bioterrorism plot has failed. If he's the genius everyone says he is, won't he realize it's over now and try to escape?
I'm not so sure.
He loves
it's
the game
true
too
Makishima's
much.
put a great deal of thought into his plans and executed them carefully. But that doesn't mean everything's just a calculation to him.
If it's a race with Kogami, why are they walking?
Then it can still be switched on manually using the control board inside the facility. That would bring the plant back online.
If he is thinking rationally, he'll try to escape while he can. We don't have time for a side trip.
Okay, then we should split up. I'll check the control room. Inspector Ginaza, I want you to look for him in the university's lab.
Oh boy.
I'll go with Inspector Tsunemori. I can run a hard patch into the main security console. And with
Ginaza and
Shion helping from
Masaoka alone.
headquarters, we may at least be able to control the security cameras so we can spot the
Yeah.
spy.
And I guess that makes us the lucky dogs in charge of chasing.
Oh,
That's where it's
there-
gonna go bad.
Come on,
Yeah.
what are you making that face for? This is where we men get to puff out our chests.
Oh no, they're making him
Yeah,
sympathetic.
yeah.
When you first joined us as a new inspector, I admit I had my doubts. I thought you were a naive little girl who couldn't possibly handle this work.
You're right. I was so naive.
No. You've proven my first impression was completely wrong. At this point, there's no doubt in my mind. I know that I can put my life in your hands. You've earned that.
That's a death flag.
I think you're giving me way too much credit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good. All clear.
You're right. And it's strange there's no one else here.
What?
He would have predicted what Makishima would do next a whole lot better than me. If this were the correct answer, Mr. Kogami would have made it here before us. So why not?
The fact that they're doing this right now means Masaoka is totally gonna die.
You don't expect anything from me. Like catching Makishima. You never thought I had a chance, did you?
Whoa.
Kogami's an enforcer and a latent criminal. He and I have gone down the same dark road, but you're still on a different path, and I'll do anything to keep it that way. So I did what I thought was best from the bottom of my heart, son.
You can make justifications for anything.
He knows how afraid we are of letting him slip by. And he knows how desperate that makes us. Ginaza and Masaoka.
Wait, please! It's too dangerous!
I need you to stay here. Someone has to be sure that Makishima doesn't access the emergency power. Don't let him get near it. Destroy the whole console if you have to.
Well, okay, that actually does kind of make sense, but...
Yeah.
Inspector Ginaza, can you hear me?
Yeah. Here goes. Okay, well...
So this whole place is a trap for them.
Don't move!
Whoa!
Nabushka! Behind you!
Good. Okay. Here we go.
Okay, now,
whoa,
what is that? Masaoka's got a robot arm though, so
yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, good, he got it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Trying to blow yourself up and take me with you?
You honestly believe I'd do a stupid thing like that?
Oh, no
way! Don't let that man go at any cost!
He's gonna throw it at Ganoza, and then Masaoka's gonna jump on it.
You're a detective! Fulfill your duty!
Oh, no!
Yeah. Oh, crap. No! You know what this means, though? He's gonna get a robot arm just like his dad.
Yeah.
You idiot! Why did you let him go? Why? What kind of detective are you?
No.
I'm no detective.
I'm
a father.
I don't deserve the title. You are my son, after all. Look at those eyes.
Oh.
They look just the same as mine used to. Back when I was young.
Okay. Here we go. He's got at least 4 shots left. Oh, don't you waste those bullets.
Don't.
So you finally ditched that kangaroo justice, and now you've got some real bloodlust, haven't you?
Spare me the arrogance. You're nothing special to me. You're just a bag of trash the city overlooked, and I'm here to finish the job. I know you feel bitter for being rejected and left out of society your entire life. Beneath your bullshit, you just couldn't bear the solitude. You're no different than the little kid whining because he isn't part of the game.
You really say some funny things. My solitude, as if that's only applicable to me. We all live in our own little cell, and the system tames us by giving each of us our personal serenity.
Yeah, saw that coming.
Yeah, what? Why did he actually think that was him?
There goes the gun. We knew how this is gonna end. Oh, here we go.
The razor blade, yeah.
Yep. Oh boy. Oh man. We knew it was coming.
We knew.
And they waited this long to have it happen.
That's true. Yeah.
Jeez. Like it's rough because Masaoka is kind of the more endearing fan favorite than Kogami, you know?
Yes.
He's that character that
Absolutely.
you're kind of like, this guy, I could get along with this guy.
Yeah.
I'd really appreciate to have him in my life. But then you
Right.
know that at the point where his son, doesn't really see, from his perspective, it would take something as violent and as horrible as him dying, saving his son, in order for him to basically come around and finally call him dad. And
that's because this is the thing, this is the kind of thing where you can see it coming, but it doesn't really matter at this point.
It doesn't matter. You're still not ready for it. There's all this extra context that's attached to it in that he did have Makishima. He did have him in a pretty good chokehold. even with Makishima getting his hand into there and stuff, he could have knocked Makishima out from just air loss.
Oh, yeah. Well, and with his robot arm, if he, like...
Well, that was the point. I think that was why he had him in the chokehold. He couldn't get past the robot arm. It was...
Yeah. It's just...
too strong.
What do you do?
Yeah. So, in this was his basic kind of understanding of this is how the MWPSB is going to work. Mm-hmm. The father and son are going to go together, and... Yeah.
Sure.
Or at the very least, he had a backup plan for just whoever was there. And that they would be tied emotionally together. They would save the other.
The, to make someone like Makishima that's really smart, even, like, cooler in that sense, it's showing not just how smart they are, but also that, like, for planning, but the fact that they can think on their feet. So maybe he didn't know that Ginoza and Masaoka would be together, but he noticed that, and he's like, oh, yeah, I can use this.
Yeah, also... he kind of has a full roster probably of the MWPSB. And
sure, probably
knows who they are and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, he probably had a whole list of things that he brought with him, and he's like, these things will all be useful potentially in some context and what have you. So now that Masaoka's dead, and they basically dropped it at the cliffhanger of the final showdown, and it's going to be those two with little switchblade knife and basically pocket knife and razor blade, with Akane coming in with the Dominator that's been manually affected and unlocked. This is Akane's choice,
right?
Does she shoot one of them? Does she shoot none of them? Does she shoot both of them? What do they do? What is their choice? What is the conversation going to be? I am excited.
Will Kinesika stay in the control room the entire time?
Well, here's the funny thing. It made sense for her to be there, but the minute they said, Kinesika, you stay here, I was like, this is basically how Psychopaths as a story is gone. Kinesika, you stay here. We're going to do the main story somewhere else.
Exactly.
I really don't have anything else to say about her character. It's not that I feel like there's wasted potential. I feel like there just wasn't a character. That little backstory episode we got, it's like, okay.
Yeah, cool. It would have been way more interesting if if Shion was and granted she's the information person that makes it all run smoothly. But
I agree. Shion is a way more interesting character. Yeah. But if Kinesika were to pass away in the next episode, I would be sad, but I wouldn't cry tears.
No.
If Ginoza or Kogami dies, I don't know what. Here's the scenarios that kind of pop up into my head. I think we've predicted pretty well where this show is going. It's just the question of, like I was asking at the beginning of this reaction episode, what is going to be the aftermath? Will there be an aftermath? Will it have a more poetic ending where they end it with a conversation or a monologue of Akane or Makishima's, and then like a gunshot and then it's over? Or will they have it be more explained and have a more exposition-heavy ending?
I don't think they need to. I think they could with like a couple minutes, give us enough to go on that we can sort of infer the rest.
Sure.
But I don't think they need to. I don't think we're gonna get like a Brotherhood all right, wrap up the whole thing episode. Where are they now?
Yeah, I think we could though. The thing that makes it a little bit interesting is. Ending it in the granary doesn't tell us what happens to Ginoza's career. It doesn't tell us what happens to Akane with her knowledge of the Sybil system. I actually see the Sybil system as potentially, basically, Masaoka's last words to Akane were one of warning that she was starting to go down the route of Kogami. And Kogami's route is that of an enforcer and then eventually a latent criminal and then eventually an enforcer.
Yeah.
They might be hinting that Akane will basically go down the route of an enforcer after this decision.
Possibly. I think it's more likely though that Ginoza will.
Well, I think Ginoza is almost definitely going to be an enforcer. I would actually like for Akane to become his boss and have there be that coming full circle in a switching of roles.
Yes.
But the Sybil system can just manually change things on a whim. If Akane's decision isn't 100% in compliance with what the Sybil system wants, you can just be like, okay, well, you're not as useful as we thought you were, Akane.
Right. If she, say, lets people know that she has a special dominator.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case, but maybe Kogami will figure it out.
Right.
In that when she shoots Makishima or something.
Yeah.
He'll be like, wait a minute.
How did you do that? Yeah. Right. That's kind of a bit of a problem.
I really wonder who's going to get shot first, Makishima or Kogami.
Well, I get the feeling Makishima might get shot first just because he's the most dangerous one.
But will he get shot by Akane or...
Well, yeah, that is a great question.
Yeah, because that's not going to kill him. And I feel like we predicted that of the 3 people that had the highest likelihood of dying,
it's
Masaoka, Makishima, and Kogami.
Right.
That Kogami would be the most likely to survive.
Right.
Masaoka was definitely going to die, and Makishima had a very high likelihood
certainly going to die.
Dying. Yeah,
and because one of the other things that,
but that's in defiance of the Sybil system. She's supposed to take him in alive.
Right.
So if he dies, it has to be either of his doing, Kogami's doing, or Akane's doing.
Yeah.
Like he could kill himself.
Right.
Basically saying, I would rather die than get subjugated into the system.
Well, that could also potentially be Genoza's thing. If Akane knocks him out and then Genoza kills him,
Genoza runs up with the gun,
or with the knife, or whatever. And
wait, how would he actually kill him? That's a good point. There is no.
He has one arm left.
Yeah, if he came with the gun.
I mean, the fact that hasn't passed out yet, is like, okay.
And he just fires every remaining bullet into Makishima's head and is laying there knocked out. That'd be pretty messed up.
Like,
I think that Genoza is out of the story for now, though.
Sure.
I think they're going to spend a lot of this next episode maybe swapping between some recap and what... Imagine... Oh, here's a thought.
Okay.
Here's how they could do this.
Yeah.
So this next scene isn't going to be very long. Like...
No, probably not.
Let's say it's like 8 minutes long, but the remaining 12 minutes of the episode is basically them interspersing this conversation with aftermath. The idea that we build up to the point to where we understand fully how it ended, and it's everyone kind of much later being like, wow, that was a crazy whole event that happened there. Yeah.
I don't think they've set a precedent for that in order to but
I'm thinking about it as a writing gimmick in order to make it happen, rather than having an entire episode after this dedicated towards recap.
And because this is a show, not like a book or something, you can do things like that and have it work. So I would be very interested to see that. I just don't necessarily think it's going to happen because it seems a bit too different.
They've drastically changed the setting by bringing in this whole farm granary thing.
That's true. Yeah.
So with this bit being over, why is Makishima still here? Is he getting vengeance? Is he just killing them because they're the only ones that really know about him?
No, I think what he's doing is that since they've established the idea that there is a way for him to manually put the power back on, and in doing so, win, right?
Right.
He's wanting to eliminate the other players before...
then go and finish his plan.
Right.
I like that. Because I think it would have made more sense, though, that he would have tried to do something about the defenses on the granary itself and basically just keep them out in the first place. And, bringing his hacker cyborg buddy or something.
That's now dead.
Oh, is he dead?
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
See, that death got overshadowed because it was right before Kagure died.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, but shoot, Makishima's alone.
Yeah, well, he's always been alone.
No, he has always been alone, but the point is that you see how much enjoyment he got from the company of his cybernetic guy.
Yes.
I think that he is hoping for Kogami to be the replacement for him, and that he can turn Kogami over to his side. Maybe, just a little bit. In this upcoming conversation. But also, I feel like it's the opposite kind where it's an antagonistic kind of friendship.
Exactly, right. I think we're destined to do this forever.
Right, but, one has to kill the other. So,
exactly, right.
So, will Kogami kill Makishima?
I don't know.
Kill Makishima?
Here's one of the things that I'm curious about. Okay, so the way the Sybil system phrased it, they said, this Dominator will remain unlocked until Shogo Makishima has been captured.
Right.
So that means if Akane wants to save Kogami, if Kogami's psychopath is over 300, then that means she will have to, unless there's like some delay, right? And by taking Makishima into custody, they mean like bringing him actually all the way back.
Right.
That would mean that
I think that's exactly what they mean for both of them.
Sure. Okay.
That has nothing to do with them just getting shot by the Dominator.
Okay.
She doesn't have to shoot them in a specific order if that's what you're thinking.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because I was thinking that could be a way for basically Makishima and Akane to have their one-on-one conversation. Because that's something that I think absolutely needs to happen. And if Kogami's there, so that could mean that maybe that Kogami then has to die.
Okay.
But then, of course, there's no
possibly.
decision, because Akane also needs to have the decision of, Kogami and Makishima are both there, and she has to fire,
Right. I get that the decision will be put fully into her hands, but I want to hear the conversation of what the three of them have to say prior to that. I could see Kogami actually getting shot first, and then she has a conversation with Makishima.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Because she doesn't want basically anyone else to step in and go,
right,
Kogami, no, and then explode him,
Well, and also there's the whole issue of based on what Makishima knows, if Akane wants to really have a conversation with him, Kogami probably shouldn't be around to hear it.
That's true. That's true. Otherwise, then he does really have to be, brought in or executed.
Right.
We don't know where Akane's priorities lie with regards to Makishima, Kogami, and the civil system.
We don't. That's true.
It's a little bit ambiguous, and I like that, because one of the things that they could have made it was that she was basically a dog of the system. She's like she's like a trained soldier, and she just follows orders.
Right, or make it shown that she's specifically trying to get like a leg up on the civil system or something.
Yeah, or that she basically just is in love with Kogami and has to save him.
Right, exactly.
It's none of those things, and it's slightly all of those things.
Right.
There's an air of mystery about Akane just in general by her own psychopaths being so perfectly perfect.
Without them actually just coming out and saying that she's criminally asymptomatic.
Yeah. So maybe there will be a conversation here between her and Makishima that's like the true gem of this show.
Oh yeah,
because now they won't have a body lying in the balance of like her friend or something like that. It will be everything lays in the balance right
and
here.
And with her pointing the Dominator at him, that'll make him probably a lot more
talkative.
Yeah,
possibly. It would be interesting to see if he does the thing of you won't shoot me, and she basically just points it at Kogami, shoots him, and she's like, no, but sit down, I want to talk with you.
Right.
But she initiates the conversation, and he's like, well, I can't say no to this.
Yeah, exactly, right.
He's such a sucker for good conversation.
Exactly. And at the very least, if she uses it on Kogami after it's like, if Makishima knows at this point somehow that Kogami is over 300 and he would have to be killed, then that would be a great way to get his attention. Because it's just like, oh yeah, I should be doing the exterminator, except no, I'm just gonna paralyzed. Okay.
Yeah, maybe he will actually flaunt back in her face the fact that the civil system gave her some kind of exception, that she's supporting a flawed system, and we'll get to hear why a flawed system to Akane is better than anything Makishima could ever kind of
right, because Makishima's proposing basically just removing the system.
Well, here's the thing. He's proposing a scenario in which the system will be forced to be removed. But he's not trying to bring the downfall of, humanity or anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
He wants more of the natural order of things,
yes.
Chaos and all that.
All that stuff. Right.
But he doesn't wish to ascend to anything.
And I love that they do that, because that makes him so much more interesting.
So much more compelling.
Yes.
So this conversation potentially between the three of them, or just Akane and Makishima, or Kogami, Akane, I mean, who knows, how much of it do you think will be philosophizing, and how much of it will be like
concrete, like
posturing, kind of threatening?
Well,
that kind of stuff.
I hope there's not too much that's like posturing and threatening and stuff, because one of the things that I was a little bit disappointed with in this episode is how much talking there was when they got to the facility, when
they just mentioned that it was a race.
When they just mentioned that it was a race, and it's like, okay, come on, like this isn't the time to, like this isn't the time for words. This is the time for action.
Right.
So, I hope that the conversation that we do get, is like none of that, no nonsense, like cut to the chase,
right.
Especially
I could see them being very efficient with their conversation usage. But we don't know that this is the last episode.
We don't, and I love that we don't know that.
Because they could have this be the Makishima dies episode.
Sure.
But they could also have this be the bit, just where the story generally ends, but actually the bit where, say, Akane then has to go back to the civil system and report.
Well, okay,
and
here's
maybe
a question.
Receive judgment.
So, do you think they will do 23 episodes, or do you think
it'll? Know.
Well, but like I've never seen a show that was like in between 22 and 24. Like sometimes 25, but like I've never seen 23. So I think that
23 is a special number.
That's true. But I think if they don't end it on this next episode, they're going to go another 2 episodes, and I don't want that to happen. Because if they, say, kill Makishima in the next episode...
I think that's a very loose assumption. I think there's a high likelihood that it ends in the next episode.
I hope it does.
I think there is a less than 10% but above 1% likelihood that there would be an episode again after that. I'm almost certain there wouldn't be one, though, after that one. So I think there's like a 99% chance of... an 89% chance of there being only one more episode, and like a less than 11% chance that there's another episode after that.
Sure. Okay.
And like a non-existent percentage of there being a 24th episode.
Gotcha. All right.
I don't think that because one of the things I think is accurate here, this does not follow a manga. This is an original anime, so they do not have to, in my opinion, could be confined to specific rules of how many episodes.
That's true.
The show is. I just know that there's 25 or less. That's
right. Yeah.
Because it's a season,
Exactly.
That's how anime seasons work.
Right. So, yeah, but I don't know. This will be interesting to see.
Yeah, but those Masaoka feels were real, guys.
They were. Like, that look on Ganoza's face, whoever, drew that did an amazing job.
Yeah, they really did. One of the things that this show has that's really interesting is hair is very, very fluid in its motion, and I kind of like it, but it's in clumps and stuff.
Right.
But the thing about Ganoza is supposed to be the kind of the straight-laced guy. Mm-hmm. The thing is, though, if you actually look at his hair... It's a very messy, kind of edgy, moody teens kind of look.
Right.
With a lot of bangs and stuff.
Not at all giving any insights into his character.
Not at all. Yeah. Which is funny because in this scene in particular, the use that they made of his hair to cover his eyes and to kind of shift back and forth and stuff made it seem even more so like that he was a wounded son. Like he was he was the one that wanted daddy's love and felt like he didn't have it, even though he really did.
Right. And
then in the final moment of sacrifice, he's like, "You idiot! Why did you do this?" Mm-hmm. It feels a lot like Edward when his father's like, "Use me" at the end,
right? And
he's like, "Shut up, you rotten father!" And then he just bursts out crying. And this is something similar to that, where the father steps in and sacrifices himself for the son.
And I am so glad, by the way, that they had that bit where Ganoza, gets angry at him, like, what, you think I wouldn't have been able to do it?
Right.
And I'm glad that they didn't end it just right there and then have Masaoka's explanation be, when he's laying there dying. I'm glad that they had the explanation right there.
Yes.
That was really good. I'm glad they did it.
Yeah, that's a convention that's pretty annoying. But with having there be that little bit of conversation when he is actually dying,
you realize
that Masaoka had made this decision a long time ago if it ever came to be, because he said he would do anything to make sure that his son doesn't go along the same path as him. But the funny thing is that if you get pulled in too deep, it doesn't matter. The fact that Genosa had this traumatic experience and watched his father die in front of him, saving his life, held him in his arms, watched him bleed out, all that, there is no chance that Genosa's psychopath, I think, will ever recover anytime soon.
Sure.
So I think Genosa's right. Like, Genosa's an enforcer.
Oh, totes.
100% now.
Absolutely. And that'll be the cool thing, because then
but that's a thing that I think warrants potentially another episode.
Okay.
Unless they use this next episode extremely well.
I think they totally could. But it will be nice to see Genosa as an enforcer with the robot arm, because then he will.
But I think in order to actually see that, we might have to watch season 2.
Well, okay.
We might just watch it on our own time and not do reactions to it.
But I think if they did wrap it up in the next episode, they could still have like a 2-minute scene where they're just like showing like little bits of like images of like where everyone is now. Maybe.
But yeah, that's efficient in a bad way, where they're basically just kind of tacking it on there. It doesn't really.
I don't know. I think it could work.
Like it feels kind of. I don't know. It kind of feels tacked on in the fact that the ending should be more emotional than just that. It should be more final than that. I feel like that could be a great thing to have in the beginning of a point in the story where you're saying it's all over now, and then you're like, wait, is it actually over? And then Akane and the Sybil system have like a final conversation, and it's like, so what now? It's like, well, we will continue to evolve, and we will search for more, like Makishima. It's like, And it's like, have you ever wondered, Akane Tsunemori, why your psychopath never changed from... It's like, well, it did change. Well, yes. It's like, they would find out, we needed you for this role all the time. We've been manipulating your psychopath.
Okay. Take off the tinfoil hat.
The Gynax ending.
Yeah. Exactly. Wrong studio.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. But anyway, this was a good episode.
It was.
I'd say the discussion is light because we haven't heard the typical Makishima monologue yet.
Exactly.
And we know it's coming.
This is a build-up episode for the next one. Even though it had some crazy stuff happen.
It did.
It's still a build-up.
I think if I'm going to add one final bit of discussion, it's that Akane understood how Kogami would act when they finally got to the granary. And I think that's good that she understands Kogami, but she understands Kogami more than Makishima. So when they finally interact for probably the last time, Akane might come to understand Makishima a little bit more. And that would be cool for maybe the two of them actually to come to an understanding.
Right.
To where they respect each other.
Yeah,
and it would differentiate her from Kogami and Makishima's relationship.
Right, absolutely. That would be fantastic. I would love to see that. I'm all 100% on board.
Okay. Yeah. Any other bits you'd like to discuss?
I know it would be tough, but I really hope that they do actually end the show with the next episode. Because it would be tough, but it would be tough. They could do it. And
you're literally echoing a thing that you said like 3 episodes ago in your discussion. You're like, no, it's a long shot, but I want them to do this. It would be tough, but I believe they could do it, and they did that. Whatever it was something about the Sybil system or something, and this is basically the same type of thing. And I'm like, well, I guess I have to believe you then. So, you've been pretty good thus far. It is interesting though that this has been a very cerebral show, and yet I feel like we got maybe into like the 5th or 6th episode, we got pretty quickly onto the vein of what type of show this is and where it's going.
Right.
So all in all, just very happy that. I watched this show.
Well, and I just want to say, even though we had like an idea of the kind of show this was, we had no idea where it was actually going to go. Like we thought we had an idea, but
we saw the tower bit coming, but I didn't think this little bit at the end was something we could have predicted.
Right, or the fact that the Sybil system is actually a bunch of human brains all in.
I predicted something similar.
To that. But I think that took a bit longer. Like,
no, but it was as we got more and more hints. No,
right.
we weren't predicting things from the beginning, but it was the idea that we predicted the AI bit.
Right, and the fact that this show has been able to set up enough of a sort of internal set of consistencies with its themes and stuff, so that when the twists come along, they still blow your mind, but they also make sense.
Yes.
That is really important.
That's good.
That's what keeps it from being just like a Gynax thing or something.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so... Major
here I am expecting that when it's like Jacob's no, this is not that.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I know what I'm about.
That actually might make the ending a little bit anticlimactic in some ways.
Possibly
because it's just harsh.
Sure,
and that's
and that's
Kogami dies.
And
Makishima dies.
Sure.
Akane loses her job.
Yeah,
Sybil becomes even stronger than before, and so-and-so Genosa becomes an enforcer.
Well, if you think about it, Philip K. Dick books, right?
Yeah, that's true.
They don't necessarily have the happiest endings.
Yeah.
And they pretty much just almost broke the fourth wall and had Makishima say this is a parody of a Philip K. Dick book.
Just a little bit. All right. Well, this has been really fun, guys. If you want to see the next episode of Psychopaths right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon and to get on early access. And also get on the Discord. We'd love to chat anime and stuff with you as well.
Absolutely.
Especially, more in depth once this first season ends. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see y'all later. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob,
and we'll see you all next time.